Today we're going to learn how to make Randy's Texas Revolution chili. There's nothing better. Usually I make this on Christmas chili, you know. But for some reason this year I forgot to buy an onion on Christmas Eve. You can't buy an onion on Christmas Day. You can't buy anything on Christmas Day. So we had to put it off until the day after Christmas this year. Watch and learn. You start with 2 pounds of ground beef. Super lean, like the 93.7 from Publix. Publix is the worst grocery chain in America. We've got 1.16 pound and 1.09 pound. That's going to work out about right, because once we drain all the fat out, it'll be down to about 2 pounds. Take the meat. See, we've already dumped 1 pound of it in there. Just dump the meat into a big old pot. Got it on fairly high heat because we want to cook this in a hurry. And yes, I know, it looks like we're starting a fire. So let's turn on the fan so we don't set off the fire alarm, but this will be alright. Well, as you can see, we have browned the beef. Because we use the low-fat meat, there's not going to be much juice to drain, but we want to drain what there is. So we're just going to drain out what little fat there is, because we don't want that stuff in the chili. There'll still be some, but get it as low fat as we can. Drippity, drippity, drip. Better that it goes down the sink than into your heart. Piping hot. The next step is to take a couple of red onions. Red onions, not those nasty yellow onions. You want the sweet red onions. Great big ones like these. So what we're doing here is we're just taking this one onion and we're just going to chop it. If you've got a machine that'll do this, that's good. I don't have a machine. You're looking at the machine. Try to do this without chopping one of your fingers off. Now that's a whole onion right there, and I'm going to add about half of another onion. Now you take the onion and you just pour it in with the ground beef. Now I'm going to quickly do this other half of onion. Don't need the peeling. The peeling is not very appealing. I'm going to toss the other half in the sink. We don't need it. I know. Starving children in Highland Park, Texas could have had that onion. But it would have only made them cry. And now we take the rest of this half of onion, put it in with the rest of the meat. Next comes the garlic. Minced garlic. Smell that? Mmm, garlic. 2 heaping teaspoons of garlic into the pot. Now we can kind of stir it up a little bit, because what we're going to do is just let all this stuff sort of sit in here and simmer for a little while, because we've got lots more stuff to add, but we want it to just kind of stay under the pot for a few minutes while we start opening a few cans. Meanwhile, we're going to turn the heat down to medium. And that's where it's going to stay for a while we get the rest of the ingredients ready. Chili powder. Not quite 3/4 of a cup. Somewhere between a half a cup and 3/4 of a cup. We'll call it 5/8 of a cup. That's going to be about right, give or take. Seasoned to taste, as they say. In the pot. Next, 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes. I use the diced, but you can get them whole. The dice just makes it a little easier. Pour the whole thing in there. The next ingredient is tomato sauce. Now, the actual recipe that I use calls for 8 ounces, but these cans come 15 ounces, so I just kind of eyeball it. I pour a little more than half in. I actually go a little more than 8 ounces, maybe 10 ounces. Sometimes I'll feel like pouring in the whole doggone can. We probably got about 10 or 12 ounces in there. That's going to be good. Seasoned to taste, you know. Next, cumin. We want 2 tablespoonfuls, heaping tablespoonfuls. We've already put one in there. Here's the other. And we also dumped about half the jar on the floor. Next ingredient, salt. You can use salt substitute if you prefer. We want 3 tablespoons. We've already put 2 of them in there. Next, sugar. 2 tablespoons. One of them's already in there. That's 2. Yum. Now the next ingredient is a 1/4 cup of ketchup, but I never measure it. I just kind of eyeball it. I just kind of go like this with the Heinz and go, that's enough. Now the next ingredient you got to be very careful with, Tabasco. It doesn't take much, just a few drops, that's plenty. Okay, now this next ingredient, I know some of you are going to wince, you're going to go, he did what? But trust me, this is the secret ingredient. It just gives it a little hint of flavor. You won't probably even notice it, but it does add something. Are you ready? You're prepared to be surprised. Chocolate. That's right, chocolate. It's good with everything, even chili. A heaping tablespoon into the pot. That's basically everything. Now we just got to fill the pot with water and stir. Like that. Now we can stir. Get everything all mixed up. Now some people prefer to use whole tomatoes instead of the diced tomatoes, which is perfectly fine. In fact, I used to do it that way. And just to get them all mushed up, you'd have to use like a potato masher, which I still do just to make sure that even the diced tomatoes are fully mushed. Put the lid on and go watch a TV show. While our chili is cooking, I got to give props to the person who actually came up with this recipe originally. Her name is Dottie Griffith. She is, or was, I don't know if she still is, the food editor for the Dallas Morning News, newspaper in Dallas, Texas. And I used to host a cooking show on KRLD with her. Now, whenever somebody would call in, Dottie would always answer the cooking questions, unless we got one like,
this is Bob in Mesquite. I need to know how to make a frozen pizza.
Dottie, I got that one. Dottie would usually answer the real cooking questions, but she gave me a couple of her cookbooks, and one of them called Wild About Chili. And this recipe is her Kansas City chili. Except I took a few liberties with it and changed a few things. So it's now Randy's Texas Revolution chili. But it's based on Dottie Griffith's Kansas City chili. So I don't want any plagiarism charges here because it's close to her Kansas City chili, but it is a little different. Hers doesn't have the chocolate in it. And a couple other things that I changed. Her recipe doesn't call for spilling half the cumin on the floor. See, it's been cooking about 10-15 minutes, and as we can see, some of the chunks of tomato have kind of risen to the top. So we're going to kind of mush them down because we want them all to be kind of mushed. Well, the chili has been cooking for about 40 minutes. We've stirred it an extra time or two. One time we had disastrous results, getting some scalding hot chili on my shirt and my hand. That'll leave a mark. Final ingredient, and I know this is going to create some controversy because I remember from doing that cooking show with Dottie, we'd do a show or two every couple of months about chili. And in Texas, chili's like a religion. You know, they got the Terlingua chili cook-off every year. It's a big deal down there. And I don't want to hear from any of you Terlingua people about my chili, okay? It is what it is. But here's the deal. There's like an even split between those who say chili should have beans and those who say chili should not have beans. I'm in the bean camp. So deal with it. So, our final ingredient, beans. Now, I'm doing something a little different this time. Usually, I just use kidney beans, dark kidney beans. But this time, I decided to try chili beans. Now, I've drained the chili sauce out. And so we're just gonna take the beans, pour them into the pot, and stir. Get them all through the chili. So we're just going to let it cook for a while. Well, the chili has been cooking for about an hour now. We cooked it for about 45 minutes. And then we put the beans in, and then we cooked it for about 15, maybe 20 more minutes. And it is basically ready. It's been simmering on medium ever since we lowered the heat after getting the meat browned and drained. We mixed all the stuff in. So it did about 45 minutes or so, and then the beans, and they cooked for about 15, 20 more minutes. And it's done. Now, real chili aficionados will tell you it's not chili until you add the masa flour. The masa flour kind of takes it and thickens it up a little bit, and it changes the color from the dark brown to more of a caramel-like color, like you're used to seeing chili. But I don't do the masa flour. Doesn't do anything for me. I like the darker color, and I don't really need it any thicker than it is because it'll thicken up because there'll be plenty of it for leftovers, and when I reheat it I usually just add a little bit of water and stir it up, and I kind of like it a little soupy anyway. So next thing to do is just serve it. As you can see, there's still plenty of liquid on the top, and you could let this simmer for a while on a lower heat and it will naturally thicken up some. In fact, I'll probably do that before I actually serve it up. But as you can see, it's kind of soupy, and all the goodies are in there. So we'll let it simmer on medium-low to low heat. I got it right there, kind of in between right now. We'll let it sit there for uncovered for, I don't know, 15, 20 more minutes. It's going to be too hot to put in your mouth right now anyway. This will cool it off some, although it'll still be plenty hot. But the thing about this chili is, even though I call it Randy's Texas Revolution chili, it's not really that hot. It's kind of medium, but not so hot that you need to like, ha, ha, ha. You know, it's not like that. Well, the chili is finished and served up and ready. Now, as you can see, I like to serve mine with crackers. And then I'll take a bunch of crackers and just kind of do that. Maybe that's why I don't like the masa flour. That makes it kind of too much. But take some of that in there. Now it's going to be hot. Temperature hot, not spicy hot. Mmm, yum. Bon appetit.